Dude, it's so funny because like every time I show up to the studio, it feels like the first episode again. Like I have the same.
Well, you're feeling nostalgic because you just made that video, the uned highlights video, you know.
Yeah, and it was really fun to just kind of go back and just look at all of those episodes and just see how unhinged some of them were.
I know. You really dug for some clips. You went really deep for some of them. I'm impressed.
Yeah. Anyways, hello everybody. Welcome to the Uneducation Station podcast. Of course, my name is Zach, and I'm here with my buddy Arthur.
Hi, I'm Arthur.
Yeah, you know, it was something I wanted to do for a really long time.
I wanted to ask, what was the spur of the moment that you had where you said you wanted to do it? Not that I don't want you to do it, or that, you know, it's just one of those things where it just on, you know, I'm going to do this right now.
Yeah. I think it was when we had Jackson and Alec on the show, and then
missed that catch.
I know, I'm really sad.
Well, I mean, not thinking, but did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh, you saw?
Yeah.
I dropped my phone. I fucking grabbed that shit. That was crazy. Nobody's ever gonna see that, but it was crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, my
Sorry.
phone. No,
Speaking of which, I'm gonna silence my phone.
I'm actually. That's what I'm gonna do right now. But one of the things
80 plus episodes in, and we're still unprofessional. JK.
Anywho. Yeah. So the thing that kind of was a catalyst was watching the Jackson and Alec episode, because honestly, all things considered, I'm really, really stoked about how that episode turned out.
Yeah.
And just from a sense of like, everyone was included, everyone was like a part of the conversation in a way. And so it was really fun to just kind of watch it. And then we were referencing like old videos, old episodes, old streams that we did. And then the clip that Alec and I were talking about of us playing CSGO hide and seek. When we were talking about that during the episode, that was one of those things that just kind of made me want to go back and look at that footage.
Right.
And of course I have it.
Right. Because he said, "Oh, Arthur's not gonna edit it. Zach, can you edit it?" You're like, "Yeah, I can edit it." And then you.
No, I think it was that one clip. Like I had both perspectives of that clip on my hard drive. And so that's what I ended up using for that video. And you know, it's really funny. I look at it and I'm like, it's not a very good video.
What do you, well, okay. You haven't been dabbling too much in Premiere Pro like extensively yet. You're just kind of getting your feet wet and kind of figuring it out after using Vegas for however many. Have you worked on a project in Premiere recently?
I think the last
video that you did with your camera.
The
70D.
Yeah. So that video was, I think, the second project that I worked on in Premiere Pro, and the first one was the Bo Burnham song cover that I did with like the digital zoom and everything.
Oh, okay. So you have been using it for a bit. Well, not like every day, bro. It's every day, bro. Premiere Pro flow. Not quite that yet, but
yeah,
you've touched it. You've looked at it a couple of times.
Right. And it's not super foreign to me. It's just the ideas that I have in my head, I haven't found like a practical way to like make it happen in the timeline, I guess. And so that was kind of one of the reasons as well that I wanted to start dabbling in Premiere Pro again.
Sure.
But yeah, dude, putting that video together and like, oh my gosh, this is so funny. So I had Alec drop by the house for a little bit. And I had Premiere Pro open on my computer because I was just kind of working on it off and on for a couple days.
Right.
And he was like, dude, it'd be really funny if you added sound effects whenever you guys threw stuff. And I was like, you are a genius. And so we sat for probably like 30 minutes just making stupid sound effects. And then
you did. Like you had added sound effects. You made sound effects. You made like screaming noises. It was great. It's a great video. If you haven't checked it out, it's on Zach's channel. It's highlights, and not just like of recent episodes, since the beginning of time of the uned timeline.
Yeah.
So it's a good video. It's a good video.
Yeah. And I realized as I was scrubbing through and looking, and honestly, I probably looked through only like half of our videos just because I knew, like, I looked at the thumbnail and I knew, or like it had an intro that had a whole bunch of funny shit. And I was like, that one is going to have some decent quality content in it. And so that's kind of how I ended up basing a lot of my findings on.
Sure. Well, a lot of them are going to. Well, I would like to think that all of them have them. It's just, are you going to be asked to scrub through 80 plus episodes? You know.
Yeah. You know, 200 hours,
1 to 2 plus hours long each episode.
Yeah, 1 to 200 hours of footage.
It's a bit rough.
Yeah, it is a little bit rough. And yeah, once I started, I realized, like, once I had a handful of clips, I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to make this at least 10 minutes. So just the saga continued of me just looking and sifting through a whole bunch of stuff. But it was really cool to relive some of the old uned days, you know.
Sure.
Like, that was definitely one of my favorite things about this whole process, was just kind of being able to look back and see how much the show has grown. Because, I mean, you know, ever since we got the new set, we've just kind of settled into this workflow. And, you know, it's nice to just kind of pay homage to our the old days of having to, like, go through and edit everything. And then when we first started using OBS and all of that kind of stuff, like, yeah, we had it rough in the beginning.
Oh,
dude.
It was so rough. Like, me being I just couldn't be the camera guy. I keep saying all the time, I just can't be the camera guy. So that was pretty rough. But, you know, it's humble beginnings. We're figuring it out. It's like those things where it's like, we really wanted to get it down. There's just no way you're going to get it down until you actually sit down and fuck up a little bit. And fuck up a little bit we did. And that's okay.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, we fucked up a lot.
So, but at the time, we were like, yo, this is peak. This is the best we'll ever do. So it's okay. It's okay.
Dude, you know, it's really funny because I found the footage of that one episode. I think it was like the original, like the first draft of episode 3 that we did.
Okay.
Where we ended up having a whole bunch of audio fucky-wuckiness happen. And we ended up having to scrap that episode. And that was the first time that we had to scrap an episode. And, you know, we were so sad because of that.
Yeah, it happened really early on too. So it's like, it's tough, but because it happened early on, it makes me just realize, yeah, because it is early on, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
It has to happen, because if that doesn't happen, then we're never going to, it's going to happen at some point.
Right.
So I'm glad it happened early on. It is a little sad, especially since it was a really good conversation. It was a great conversation. It was essentially like, I mean, we talked about it. We didn't like recite what we said. We kind of did, but with a new light after talking about it already. Yeah. And then talking about it again.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of like that. So it ended up working out. I know we were really discouraged. I know you were really discouraged. Like, oh, this is going to suck. I'm like, it's going to be fine. Because I've been an editor, Zach, I scrap shit all the time.
Yeah.
The recycling bin gets cleared all the time, Zach. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really disheartening. And then we had that. So basically, I know that this is basically us just talking about our show and talking about ourselves, but whatever.
Narcissism, the episode.
Narcissism. Wow. We had probably like 10 episodes that we had filmed before. I think it was either right before we started the channel or like very shortly afterwards. And so we just had like a massive backlog of episodes. And then you were the one who was sitting down and editing all of that footage. And I feel so bad. Like,
oh, that's what I do. It's okay. This is what it is.
Yeah. But like, you decided, you were like, I can't do this shit anymore, man. And after, I think it was like 4 or 5 episodes, then we ended up doing a jump to the OBS episodes. And then, you know, everything was fine pretty much, except for my camera would be a dick.
Yeah, well, your camera didn't have the clean HDMI, so you couldn't get that out. Well, you could do it, but it had to be with interlacing, and it was like, it just wasn't really ideal. I mean, it worked fine. Honestly, for that episode, you would notice it, but for this setting, it was fine. There's not a lot of moving parts, and we're just sitting static, and oftentimes you don't move a lot anyway, so it's like, it's whatever.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. So it was cool, but it was also just a good time to be like, okay, yeah, I mean, we should probably look into what gear to get into, right?
Yeah.
and figure the gear out, because you know, at that point, well, the little dinky audio box is just not going to cut it. Even though it's 2 ports, it's great, but you know, what if we wanted 4? We get this little splitter, you know, it's just not really ideal. And then, you know, we realized the fruitions of that when Alec came on for the first time. Well, I think by then we probably had the MG10, but it was or the mixer side, but it was rough.
I think that was like right after we got the mixer, either right before or right after. I can't really remember.
I want to say so, yeah, but I do remember. No, I don't know, because I do remember having to use that splitter. Because why would I have it? Why would I have it? Did I? No, because it's up there, the audio box, the good old reliable.
Oh man.
And we're not using it right now. But 2 ports, two XLR ports, great price. I just can't get over the. You know that sound?
I do know that sound.
I don't know what it is, Zach. It's a grounding thing, I'm pretty sure, but I'm using a cheaper. I don't know if it's because it's cheap or whatever it is. Maybe they're using some sort of like same transformer from some same company. I don't know, but it's the same. It's always the same exact sound. It's never different. It's the same thing. On that, actually, I couldn't hear myself on the complete audio. There's no zero monitoring that I know of. On the Behringer UM2 that I have for my little mini setup over there, it's the same exact sound. To this day, I don't know what the fuck it is. It has to be some sort of cheap Chinese transformer that each one of these companies are using to save costs, probably.
I mean, it's funny that you mentioned that, because my audio box didn't have that, but it did have like the little bit of static, like the no matter like if I had the gain turned all the way down, or like the second I plugged in my headphones, it was just
What was that in the recording?
No.
Then that means it's just a bad preamp on your headphones. So that's fine. Well, it's not great.
Whoa.
Well, that's what I have to do with my stream. What is the shit I hate? The Wave XLR thing. The Wave XLR interface that I use for my streams that I hate so much. It's fine with headphones, but I found, and other people have found as well, IEMs, that's where you get the hissing from. That kind of static, that preamp sound.
Oh,
that for some reason just doesn't exist for, I don't know, maybe it's a certain I don't know, nobody cares. I mean, I care a little bit, but it's kind of silly. It's unfortunate, but you get used to it, especially if you're streaming this music, so whatever, it is what it is. But then again, I wish then that I could just, okay, I'm done streaming. Let me just move over to my speakers. Oh, there's no line out on this thing because it's a great audio interface. And I can't switch on my speakers. But it doesn't matter, because then I just plug in with the... Oh, I saw my Genshin open. I just realized that. I was doing my dailies. Can you tell? Before you came here. It's very early today. I have a very busy weekend. I know. Hard to believe. It never happens. That's why I'm stressing, because it never happens.
You know, I
want to say something, because this is the reason why I brought this up. The hissing, or that thing. I brought this up because that happened in our previous recordings.
Oh, yeah.
And guess who had to take every single one out?
You.
Every time it happened.
I'm so sorry.
I couldn't fast forward because I would miss some. I would have to sit. I mean, I enjoy listening to our podcast anyways, but when you're editing mode, you're like, and you hear it, fuck. Gotta clip it, denoise it, clip it, do something, remove it, maybe adjust our sound, maybe cut it somehow. It's so annoying. And sometimes I couldn't, because there's just too much talking and I can't get rid of it. It failed. I don't know what to this day. If anybody has a solution, because it has to be a thing. How do I start that up, Zach? Hey, does anyone else have the sound on their in their audio interface? No, that's not a thing. Well, it is a thing. How do I start that up? Static?
How would you spell that out phonetically?
Puthathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathathat
I just found that super funny.
Exactly. What am I to do?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, it's not an issue anymore that we have to deal with on a consistent
now.
basis. For now.
For now. Who knows? That's
Dude.
why I maybe this is why I think it is some sort of thing. There's some transform. I'm saying transformer like very loosely. I don't know the components within. That's not my area of expertise. But it doesn't happen on the mixer, the MG10. Doesn't happen on my Scarlett 2i2 3rd gen. And those are much more. Well, some would consider the 2i2 the Scarlett Focusrite's kind of budget, but compared to a real person's budget, where that would be the PreSonus audio box and stuff, that's budget. The Focusrites are a little bit more premium, just ever so slightly more premium. It feels more premium, and maybe premium components within. I don't know these things, but that's also another reason why I've been considering going back to the 2i2 over on my setup and ditching the Wave XLR. But I don't know, man. The auto routing is nice. The VSTs are nice.
Yeah, it's really nice that you can put your music on a different channel so that when you download the VOD, then it's just gone.
Yeah. Well, I am recording it. It's not that I download the VOD. It's that it's for when the VOD goes up on Twitch, it doesn't get muted.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But I'm working on ways to split audio levels so that way I can remove the music myself. Right. It's still it's not that hard. It's just I have to sit down and like think about it and organize it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Ain't nobody got time for
I
that
don't
shit.
got time for. Well, I mean, it's one of those things where it just take a day. But it's like, I don't have a day. Well, I do have a day, but I'd rather do other things during that day.
You're like, I would rather do homework.
No, absolutely not. Maybe that'll be my excuse whenever I sit down and do homework. But I have to be diligent now because I finally started doing my homework of this class that I'm super behind on. And the professor, bless her soul, she's a saint for letting me take my time. But it's a lot more than I thought. I mean, obviously, because it's like 5 weeks worth of work at this point, but it's doable. So I can catch up at some in as long as I put my mind to it. So I've hatched a new streams and school schedule, and I'm doing my best. How well is it gonna go? I don't know, but it's a lot more realistic than what I had before.
Right. Yeah, and that's one of those situations that only time will tell.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me really happy to see you streaming again, and or like at least on a more consistent basis, because like I was saying in that episode with Jackson and Alec, you and Alec were like the main two reasons why I started streaming, and like seeing the production quality of your streams just do nothing but go up since then. That's been really cool. And like, it definitely makes me really happy when my friends are doing a bunch of really cool shit and I can just be on the sidelines like, yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, but it is really cool. And like I was in the stream last night and you were just playing Genshin.
Of course, as I do.
As one might.
It's been a while since I played Genshin on stream. So it's like, oh, no, Anuki's playing Genshin again. It's been like 2 weeks. Come on, guys. I'm trying. I'm playing other games. I'm doing my best.
Dude.
Building keyboards. Speaking of which, keyboard giveaway. I'm holding another one. But this time, last time I mentioned the... Oops, sorry. So I hit 30 subs on twitch.tv/AnukiDayo.
Always be plugging.
And because of that, I'm now doing a keyboard giveaway, which is fun. This is my second one. The first time I mentioned the keyboard giveaway on stream or on this podcast, it had already been over by the time the video or the episode ended up airing because we're like super behind.
Yeah.
This time, now, like it's not happening yet. So that's way better than it already happened. So we'll figure that out. I don't know what I want to do. I have this keyboard. Casually pulls out a keyboard with PE foam attached to it. Just a standard bog schmuck optical switch gaming keyboard, right? You find on Amazon for like $50 or so, which was pretty good at the time Alvin and I bought this. Around that time, it's like what, maybe 2-3 years ago, a $50 keyboard. That's pretty good.
That doesn't sound too bad at all, actually.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays you can find like $50, $40, $30 keyboards that end up having mechanical switches, and that's awesome. But this one it's a classic. The Durian. Probably not Durian.
Diarrhea?
Maybe. Relatively popular. And some people have, my brother has been having some issues with it. I don't have any issues with it, and it's free, so who cares? So maybe I'll mod it, see how it turns out. and I'll give that away. Or we'll go through and pick out some parts together and have a fun keyboard. But I haven't figured that out yet. Obviously, funds are not incredible, so it's not. All right, here's my wallet. Or all right, guys, you guys pick the keyboard build. $500 keyboard, cheap super expensive GMK keycaps. I'm like, oh.
$1,000 later, you're sitting here crying. You had to sell your computer.
Yeah, I can't do that for the giveaway. Sorry, guys. Maybe at 50 subs. but but yeah, I'm like super excited. The first giveaway did great. This one, it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be US only this time. I'm really sorry. I know, even though I know my Canadian bros and everyone, I made the exception of, oh hey, you know, as long as you pay for customs and extra shipping, because I'll pay for shipping, right?
Yeah.
But if they make you pay extra for customs and stuff like that, then as long as that, I'll have that on you because I'm not responsible for that. That's just my thing. But I'll pay for the keyboard and the shipping. But customs is what fucks us over. And that's also why I stopped doing international keyboard builds. Because even Canada, Zach, do you know where British Columbia is located?
Like just north of Washington?
Yes, literally above Washington. It's right there. I paid $92 for customs.
Oh.
That's not including shipping.
Oh.
Guys, what happened to your Canadian dollar? What happened?
No, that's more of a question of what.
Yeah.
It's more of a question of what happened to the US dollar.
Mm-hmm. I know. Well, the Canadian dollar is also in shambles as well. So it's just not great. And I know economy is not great, but it doesn't make any sense. Because I shipped to Nova Scotia, for $40. Why does that make sense, Zach?
I don't know.
That doesn't make sense. The UPS driver literally... No, but I know it's not UPS. It's custom. I know it's customs. That's why it makes no sense. I spent less money. No, we spent less money to ship to Portugal.
What?
Yes. I mean, shipping was also was expensive, of course, but I'm talking about just customs. I mean, it sucked though because we had to, because their customs was like, oh, do you have a proof of payment and invoices and all that stuff? And I'm like, no, I marked this as a gift. This is not a product. This is a gift. Why would I have an invoice for a gift? I'm like, oh well, sorry, dude. No habla English. Ugh, fuck you, dude.
Why'd you start speaking Spanish?
Because Portuguese. I don't know. Listen, man.
No habla English.
Listen, man. It's like a whole 2-month process of getting this damn keyboard, and I'm like, fuck. And it's not even. Listen, Hyako, thank you. I appreciate you. You helped me. We worked it out, and I'm glad you like your keyboard. But it's like it wasn't that expensive of a keyboard. And that's fine. Like I'm not shaming. That's not what I'm saying. It's just that it's so annoying that we're spending so much time and money for like a sub $200 keyboard.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just not. It's not the fault of me or Hyako or his budget. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying, oh, poor B. No, I'm just saying it's such a hassle for such a, like, if this was like $1,000 keyboard or something, or like a $500 to $1,000 keyboard, I would be putting my life on the line to make sure he gets this damn keyboard. For like a $150 keyboard, I'm like, fuck, why can't... Jesus, why do they think it's like a bomb or something?
Right.
Jesus Christ, just open the damn box if you need to. It's a fucking keyboard. What's the problem? I hate, it's so annoying.
Maybe they opened the box, tapped on the keys, and were like, ooh, we could steal this.
Who? God,
I don't know, Portuguese customs?
I'm gonna use this and tippity tap with these sushi keycaps and Japanese sub legends. Yes, while I'm at work, and I keep denying more damn packages. I understand that. I'm sorry. I'm upset. I'm sorry. I just hate customs so much. I understand its purpose. I understand like what is it? TSA and stuff in air. Obviously, you know, shipping things from unknown places is sketchy shit.
Right.
I understand that. So why can't they give me a damn phone call or something? Or an email? Voicemail? Anything, Zach? Or something, I don't know. Or like have a conversation or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Like So I used EMS, which, by the way, I will never use EMS again, even if it's cheaper, because it's so shit. Because they don't have a direct line.
What? Why don't they have a direct line?
Well, they have a direct line. Okay, so they don't have an email, which is the stupidest thing.
That's so dumb.
Because email for contacting, like you know what, calling is annoying. I'll be honest, I hate calling for shipping things and customer service things. I prefer email. It's more straightforward. Obviously, it takes more time. Oh, excuse me, I was burp. It takes more time, obviously.
Bless you.
Thank you. But it's more formal, and you get to list everything down. There's no miscommunications. Also, I hate talking on the phone. I don't know what it is. I know obviously, you know, phone quality isn't great, but for some reason, I just don't phone audio is indiscernible in my brain. Like literally. And especially their dinky little head cams or their little headsets, like I'm like, dude, I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, don't you just love when you call them and it sounds like they're eating their microphone? They're
know.
just like,
I know, and it's like, and even just like with normal phone call, Zach. From me to you,
yeah.
Even then, I can't do it, Zach. With our relatively modern cellular devices.
I mean, I don't mind it, and I guess I'm a little bit different because I have a hard time putting my thoughts into words in general. Mm-hmm. And so trying to tippy tap it out and then also remember that I should probably at least try to spell things right so that autocorrect can figure out what the fuck I'm trying to say. You know, it gives me a chance to just like say what I want to say. And then if it sounds really dumb, then I should probably revise it. Mm-hmm. And so then I can just kind of like backpedal and do it that way. But yeah, it's so annoying.
Well, that's more natural. And I think that makes more sense as a human being.
Right.
But for me as a writer, as an Honors English 2 student, no, I'm just kidding. But as someone who enjoys writing and texting and stuff, mm-hmm. I've gotten really good at it, especially since that's mostly the how deals went down in the COD space. Twitter DMs, Skype, if you will. Skype is for video conferencing, but still we would never handle edit transaction stuff via a call. It would be through the Discord or Skype messaging. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of how it went. So I guess I got really... I know, right?
The days before Discord.
I know, right? Really tragic. I don't know. I didn't hate Skype. I just hated using it. No, sorry. I didn't... Yeah, actually, yeah, that's correct. I didn't hate Skype because everyone's like, Skype sucks. Skype didn't suck. It was what it was, you know? Mm-hmm. And I know Discord existed, I guess, back then, but it's like nobody really knew about it, and that's kind of rough, but I don't know. But that's how it went down. I got used to texting, and maybe it's because I'm just so introverted. I don't know. I just don't like talking. At least I don't like speaking unless I'm presenting, such as now.
You're like, don't fucking talk to me.
Maybe I shouldn't say that because, I don't know. I do like presenting and I do enjoy communication, but I think, I guess it's the same thing about reading versus writing. How I really enjoy writing, but I don't like reading. I really enjoy speaking, but I'm not good at the whole comprehension thing, you know?
Yeah. You're like, I can sound very eloquent when I say things, but my brain does not do the big thinkies whenever someone else is talking in my general direction.
Not at all. Maybe maybe that's my debuff.
Yeah. You know, that's kind of how I am with ASL. Mm-hmm. But it's the complete opposite. Like my reception is so much better than my actual capability to sign things. Mm-hmm. And by sign, I mean American Sign Language, ASL. And so like I could full speed, like a deaf person can sit there and like talk at me mm-hmm. or sign at me. Mm-hmm. And I would understand probably 80 to 90% of what they're saying. Mm-hmm. But I probably would sign at like a 3rd grade level back to them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, yes, because you took only 3 years of ASL.
And my last class was 5 years ago.
So technically, yes, you're correct.
But it's the same kind of idea. Like our mm-hmm. brains are wired a little bit differently.
Sure.
And you know, that's from person to person, no matter who you talk to. Like there's mm-hmm. always going to be something a little bit different. And so like understanding and comprehending information that's being thrown at you is an entirely different process from you taking information that you already know and then putting it into words and it coming out of your face.
So the way I communicate, I've realized that I've kind of gamified it, almost in a way. I've basically turned it into a visual novel. Is it because I'm a weeb? Not necessarily. It's just after taking communication classes, I find it fascinating. In sociology classes, I find it fascinating how, different words and meanings and the way you speak have different timings and cadences affect literally every outcome of which the person that you're talking to is going to interpret it.
Right.
Every little thing counts.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it sounds really scary, and like I have like this internal flow chart whenever I speak. Like literally, I flow chart it out as I speak. If I say this in this way, or that in that way, or that in this way, what's gonna happen? If I say this in this way, in this tone, with this timing, how is that going to respond? I'm doing this. Yeah. And that sounds crazy. That sounds really odd, but I'm not doing it consciously. I'm doing it subconsciously because the brain actually moves really fast. I don't think I don't think you need me to tell you that. But brain moves really fast. So if you get accustomed to it like I have, then you're able to do this internal flowchart system without really thinking about it. And you could choose the best form of words. I mean, you've heard me speak, right?
Yeah.
I speak pretty fast.
Well,
I've learned this. I actually wanted to bring it up because I realized after listening to your video that you made and then listening back to some of the previous guest videos with Jackson and Alec and Cameron and Cha, I speak really fast.
Yeah.
Like really fast. Like so fast that it's not discernible in the microphone. And you can tell I'm trying to better myself in that way.
Well, and
but the reason why I'm saying that is because I speak fast, but I'm still able to do this whole flow charting thing.
Yeah.
So that's how fast I'm able to make these calculations in my brain. You know what I mean?
Me and my big brain. But it's so interesting because you bring up a very fascinating topic of comprehending information and how you can use your words in a specific way to basically have a representation of the information that you're trying to provide. And so when you're talking about a lot of different things, and especially when you're trying to teach someone new information, and I'm not going to sit here and try to stroke my own ego, but I pride myself in my ability to explain things in a way that makes sense.
I do as well.
And so when I'm teaching people about like music or photography or things like that, things that I'm really passionate about, I've been able to find a way to make it so that it's super digestible for people and make it so that at the end of the day, after I walk away, they retain some of that information as opposed to it just kind of being like, oh yeah, I learned about photography stuff. What'd you learn?
I don't know. Let me check my notes again. It's like, imagine being a teacher. Right. God forbid. I'm just kidding. And you teach in a way so that your students don't have to take notes. It just makes sense and they're engaged in the subject matter. I mean, they may have to jot a couple things down because if you are a teacher, then you have to play the game of memorization on your tests, right? But in general, like for general learning, you can teach in a way where they as in the students, your students don't have to take notes. Yeah. That's how I like to speak whenever I'm teaching someone how to edit or what to do with their computer, how to fix their computer, especially for computers, which is super fucking nerdy, and like we talk about, we enjoy tech. We know like maybe me more than you, but I mean, things like CPU and GPU and things like that. Some people don't even know that. They don't even know what that means. You know what I mean? And that's fine.
Right.
I don't expect anybody to. That's some nerdy shit, Right. I expect people to just be like, I'm just going to go to Walmart and buy a damn computer. $3,000? Sure, why not? Yeah, that'll play Fortnite and Overwatch 2 and COD Warzone 2. Is Warzone 2 out? Right? Isn't that a thing?
I think so.
Right? Is that what's the new COD or is that not yet?
I think that was with the newest COD.
Okay. Warzone 2 and MW2. Yeah. But you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So that's why whenever I try and help people through like their technical technology problems, right?
Right.
I try and speak in a way where, one, I'm not condescending, because that's very easy to do,
Mhm.
especially when you're a tech nerd. It's very easy to get into that mode of, dude, how do you not know this?
Yeah.
You know, it's very easy. One, not condescending. Two, promote interest. And three, like you said, just explain in a digestible way.
Yeah.
Those are the three major points I want to hit when I'm explaining something.
Right. Yeah, and it becomes really interesting when you're having that conversation with somebody and they are engaged and they're asking questions and they're wanting to make sure that they retain the information on their own, as opposed to like you having to drill it in them so that they don't forget. And that ends up having situations like the favorite teachers that you had in class when you were in school, or whatever. They were the people who made it interesting, who made it so that you wanted to learn more about it. And so, kind of taking, I've become like an embodiment of all of my favorite teachers whenever I'm trying to explain anything to anybody. And it's been really cool because especially on like the photography side of things, like I've had a lot of people reach out to me through Instagram or all that kind of stuff, asking me about camera gear, asking me about like, portraits and all of that kind of stuff. Like, oh, how did you get that background separation with your camera? And like, how were you able to stop motion and like all of that kind of stuff? It ends up turning into really cool teachable moments where I can just kind of go through and explain it the best that I can. And I tell everybody and anybody who reaches out to me in any capacity, I'm like, if you have any questions, like, let me know. I'm more than happy to be able to relay the information that I've learned so that, you could be better off than where I was when I was just starting out doing a lot of things.
Well, it's the same, the age-old question, or not question, but the age-old answer of just ask stupid questions. And
yeah.
Well, that's about it. Really, just ask stupid questions. Otherwise, you'll never know the stupid answer. It's simple as that. I think, especially us growing up, I would imagine it's still the same. You just don't want to raise your hand for anything. You don't want to burden the rest of the class if you're behind or whatever, and you don't want to burden the teacher to explain it to you. Things like that, right? These little social I'm thinking of a word, but I can't think of it. This kind of internal battle that you're having inside your head, where I just don't want to ask a question about that. Hopefully I'll figure it out in due time. And unfortunately, I mean, I'm a hypocrite because I try and say, don't do that. Just raise your hand. But I never raised my hand.
Right.
But it's because I never raised my hand that I regret that. And I want people to raise their hand. I want people to say, hey man, I don't know the difference between a linear and a clicky switch.
Yeah.
I don't know the difference between a RAM and a power supply.
Right. It's that self-consciousness of just not wanting to look like an absolute idiot, which is understandable.
Yeah,
and
fair, yeah.
coming from somebody who
nobody wants to radiate clown energy.
Yeah. Coming from somebody who has looked like an idiot on the internet for many years, it's just kind of something that, I mean, of course, I've become completely desensitized to it, and I've just become the full embodiment of just goofy ass dude that does stupid shit, but also is smart every once in a while. It's kind of hard to believe that I was so concerned about all of these different things, but it's so real. It's such a real problem that everybody has, where there's that little voice in the back of your mind that's like, oh, people are gonna think you look like a fucking moron.
Yeah.
Like, don't say that.
The little devil and angel on your shoulder. I can be your devil or your angel. Fuck. Yeah. I get it. I understand. So that's why it's for what it's worth. If it helps that two random dudes on the internet are telling you to raise your hand, I don't know. Take that for whatever it's worth. I don't know. Are you going to listen to us? Who knows? But hopefully, as someone who has also battled these internal, you're going to look like a fucking idiot if you raise your hand. We've all been there. It's all good. Ask away. Or if anything, hey, shoot it. You know, these days you just shoot a DM and nobody else will know unless they're a bad person and they flame you publicly.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately happens a lot, and that doesn't help the case currently. But
if that happens, and if you are that person that flames people on the internet publicly, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, it's not very fun. But that is again why I'm not in that damn editing community anymore, because that just sucked. But I'm not, because of that. Hey, I don't edit anymore. I'll be honest. But hey, ask me some questions. You know, I made a new Twitter called Anuki Edits. Can you guess what I do on that Twitter?
You edit?
No, I don't. I'm just kidding. I don't. I've been putting my old snippets, like my old edits, little like 10, 20 second clips of my edits on that Twitter. It's just no reason. It was like 1 a.m. I was just on my Twitter. I'm like, this would be fun, maybe. I don't know. And I started posting some, and it started gaining some traction somehow, some way. The editor friends and fans found it, and they started liking it. I'm like, oh, cool. And it's been a lot of fun. Shout out to Anuki Edits. It just hit 100 followers, so I gave away a free project file. So shout out to y'all. And it's cool to see that people still enjoy my edits in a tangible way, rather than, like, obviously views on a YouTube video, like, that doesn't really mean much. Obviously it means the world when it gets a lot, but it's hard to, you don't really see it until like you could get a 10,000 views on a YouTube channel, but you pay more closer attention to how many like the comments per se, right? Things like that. Like, it does depend on the person, but for me, it's how it is. So hearing that feedback, seeing that live feedback whenever I'm tweeting, because tweeting is a little bit more like on the spot type of vibe, right? Mm-hmm. So I throw a 10-second clip of an old edit, you know, and people be like, "Yo, this is cool." I'm like, thanks, man. Appreciate that. I really do. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys. And it makes me remember, I guess I did okay during my time.
Yeah.
I did all right. Made some edits. Had a time. I did okay.
Yeah. It is really cool looking back and seeing all of the cool shit that you've done in the past. And I mean, it's a little bit different when you're talking about like editing and that kind of stuff, just because it ends up like, obviously you're not really in that space anymore, and so you'll kind of look at it from like a nostalgic light, like, oh man, that was a lot of fun. I mean, I'm glad I don't do it anymore, but it was a lot of fun.
Yep.
And I mean, you know, I go back and look at old pictures I've taken, and like some of the best pictures that I've taken, you know, 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. It's hard to believe that I've been shooting pictures for almost 5 years. Isn't that wild?
That is wild.
Like, I got my first camera Christmas of 2017.
Damn. I thought it was earlier than that. That's crazy.
I mean, I was doing the whole smartphone
Sure, but yeah.
But yeah.
Are you a photographer if you're taking pictures with your smartphone, Zach?
No.
Exactly. Sorry, guys.
sorry to burst your bubble, you guys. I mean, I understand that a lot of people are like, they don't have the budget, or they don't really have
right. I'm not saying like,
well, no.
You gotta buy an expensive mirrorless DSLR camera, otherwise you're not a photographer. No, that's not what we're saying.
No, what I'm saying is that, like, you know, photography has always been like, I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole again.
Okay.
Photography and shooting pictures are two different things, because, like, God, I can't even imagine, like, I can't even fathom how many pictures I have on my phone right now, mm-hmm. of just me taking pictures of random shit, mm-hmm. on my phone, mm-hmm. with my phone. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, that there's not the intent of like creating something, or like, you know, capturing a moment in an artistic way. Mm-hmm. Photography is basically an artistic expression, or mm-hmm. like an artistic form of expression. Whereas, like, you know, when you're taking a selfie with Tony Hawk or whatever, it's mm-hmm. like you're just capturing a moment, and it's like, you know, there's something really cool about that, and that's mm-hmm. you know, that's its own thing. But
I think photography, so I imagine, excuse me, a smartphone to be, yes, that in the moment capture the moment type of vibe. I imagine it like photography, the difference between those two in my brain. Photography is the interest in the art itself, rather, and then taking pictures on your smartphone, for example, is the same idea as those little green little pocket point and shoot buddies that they put in on the every single wedding table. You know what I mean?
The
little shitty quick snap.
The Kodak, the little film guys.
Yeah, and then it's like you get like 1 or 2 shots max, and it's like, yeah, cool, thanks, dude. I never used one, by the way, but I just remember them vividly, always seeing them back in the day. Probably not anymore because we have the smartphones, right? But they're just on wedding tables, like one at each wedding table, and like, yeah, you can take one, and then take a picture and keep it or whatever.
Yeah,
they're like, yeah, I'll take a picture of the groom and bride and take it home and frame it. Yes, that's what I'll do.
Honestly, I think at my wedding, I think I'm still gonna do that.
That would be cool. Yeah.
So I guess my idea would be get a ton of them, have people shoot pictures of them, pictures of just random shit. I go get it developed, make a book, make a photo album, and then send it to people.
Yeah, that would be so cool. That's cool. I like that.
And honestly, I'm kind of terrified about when I get married and all that kind of stuff, just because I'm a wedding photographer. Oh, and so
you don't really think about that.
Yeah. And the main people that I know that I would want to shoot pictures at my wedding would be in my wedding. And so it's kind of like, well, fuck, man.
That's okay. I mean, you'll find some people to shoot it. It's fine.
Yeah. And it's not really that. It's just like, I don't know. It would be hard for me to look at those pictures and not just be like, dude, I could have done a fucking better edit on that picture.
Well, we can say that for anything for our own crafts. Come on now. I've been there as well.
But yeah, it is really funny that that's like something that I want to do so bad. And I want to shoot film. I want to do a whole bunch of different stuff. But just to have that one thing happen at my wedding, where it's like, oh, yep, wow, picture that. Photographer guy having a bunch of people shoot pictures of shit, and then he makes the book and sends it to everybody else. Shocker. But, this is a cool little transition. So I was saying before the shoot that I wanted to show you something.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So what I ended up doing is I ended up buying a business card. I'm not going to show you the other side because I don't want you to scan the QR code and get my phone number. But
yeah.
Can you be a bad podcaster and pull out your phone really quick?
Oh, sure. I zipped it up. There we go. All right. Hold on. Okay, there we go. That's good.
There we go. Okay, unlock it.
Okay. It's one of those.
And basically, I have to do is
I love these ones. Give it to me, Zach.
Okay, here, I'll just hand it to you and you can do it.
I won't. Here, I'll point it like this.
Yeah.
And I take my phone and I go like this.
It's on the back.
Fuck. Oh, it's on the back.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like this.
You put.
There it is. There you go.
A little linky poo.
Wow, that's cool. And then you can see, oh, cool, his little page thing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I enjoy that.
I'm really glad that I didn't have any super personal info on the front.
Well, yeah, that's why I looked first before I did that.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I know about doxing. I know a little bit about doxing, being on the internet for a while. I know the checks.
Yeah. But I got a business card, and it's really cool because I could just kind of boop, and then it just works.
That's very cool.
I've already had a chance to use it a handful of times. Oh, cool. It's
I think about it. Yeah, I really probably should think about doing a business card type of vibe as well, but I don't know what the fuck I would do it for. I guess just for for what? My keyboard building? Hey, you want to build a keyboard or but I think, or my YouTube and stuff, I guess so.
Yeah.
My streams, Twitch.tv to Anuki Dio, I really fucked that one up.
Always be plugging.
Maybe, I don't know. But that's you're on a roll. You got the website, Zach. You got the business card, Zach.
I have a business email.
You have a business email. It's pretty good. I have a business email as well, but it's still at Gmail, so it's kind of lame,
Yeah, mine is at zachpphoto.com.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I linked to my website if you guys want to go check it out.
Yeah, you told me to. See, this is all. See, he's he's shameless plugging as well. See, hey, ain't no shame in that, baby. It's all good.
Ain't no shame in the plugin game, my
Ain't
friend.
no shame in the plugging game. You do what you got to do.
Yeah, but it is really cool that I have all this stuff. Also, by the way, this $5. $5 for the card. App is free.
That's cool.
The only time you have to pay for the app is if you want to have more than one different type of business card. So that sounds like a pretty good deal to me.
Yeah, they're practically just giving it.
They're practically just giving away.
That's great. You got to start your business out somehow, and a business card is a way to do it.
Yeah.
I would say it's way more. Yeah, it's a, the future is now, old man. Everybody just has a smartphone with an NFC type reader of some sort. It's it's just the future. So it's like I guess it's gonna depend. I know things like in Japan, for example, business card culture is like super like it's a thing. Yeah. You just hand people business. It's just you just do it.
Yeah.
And there's a whole etiquette to it. You take it, whatever. I mean, I don't know the etiquette personally, but I know it's like a really big thing. Would that fly? I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe it'll freak them out, or maybe it'll enlighten them. I don't know.
They're just like, what the fuck?
What the fuck? What do you want me to? You want me to take this? I will take it. I'm like, no, don't take it.
No, wait, that's mine.
Maybe. I don't know. But business cards are cool. I've always found them cool.
I don't know why I got so excited about it, but
it's the mundane things in life that makes us happy, Zach. It's okay. It's the little things.
it is the little things that just make everything so cool. And it, you never really think about like tech has evolved pretty much everything. Mm-hmm. And so when you think of something as simple as like a business card, you don't really think of the fact like, oh yeah, we have credit cards that you could just tap it on a phone and then it pays for shit.
Mm-hmm. So why don't we make a business card out of it?
Yeah, like I never even really thought about
Problem
it that
solving, Zach.
Yeah. Use case.
Yeah, you find it. There's an issue, but you're someone's onto something. You're some guy, or gal, in the shower, Zach. You know it was a shower thought. You know it.
Oh yeah.
They're just in the shower, and they go. They're cleaning the dirt off the sweat off their forehead. And they go, what if I make a business credit card type vibe? In those exact words, in that exact tonal voice, whether they're a male or a female. What if I make a business card? It's like a girl with a high pitched voice. What if I make a whoa? And then she soared. He, she, they soared, and that's the vibe. Technology is problem solving, and that's fun.
It is really interesting.
It's fun finding just going on Amazon and finding cool, like maybe not necessarily cheap, but relatively affordable, just alternative to things,
And I think so they make these guys out of metal. You can
it's a good one.
You can buy them like out of wood. So there are so many different ways. And I would love for this company to sponsor us because they make a bunch of really cool shit. But
that's cool. Send an email
with my business email.
Yeah.
Except for it's not for photography; it's for the podcast. But
Well, I do link my business email in Undead now because there's no reason. I don't know. I don't like uneducation station podcast at gmail.com is kind of rough, and it's hard to change.
You just doxed our email address.
It was on our bio it's still on our bio, so it's fine.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh.
What's our business email?
I never thought about it like that.
Which is separate from no one cares. But now I have my business email. Just business.anuki@gmail.com, which is not as cool, but it does the job.
It's better than an education station podcast.
Yeah, it's not very ideal.
I think we made that email before we decided to do Uned podcast.
Maybe. I don't know, actually. I know I don't know. Things that don't matter anymore. Probably. Hopefully. I hope to. No, but whenever I have to sign into things using that email, I'm like, ugh.
You're like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to change for some reason. It's hard to change the email. Like unless you get like some sort of domain, you can make it specific or something like that. But and then do that whole rerouting thing. But apparently, you have to like make a new one and then swap them. But then when you swap them, like, do you have to make it? Do you delete certain accounts, and then do I have to change? It's like, I don't care.
Well, I think the main thing that makes it a little bit difficult is that since you're
perhaps we shouldn't talk about signing into an education station podcast things too much.
Yeah, I mean, just in a general sense, since there are so many things that are tied to your email address, I can imagine that would make it very problematic when you go to try to sign into things on other websites.
I remember the day that back in the dark ages, Zach, as we say, right? Even before the dark ages, I remember the shift when we were all using usernames. Usernames was everything for accounts, for games, everything was usernames. And then there was a shift to emails. I remember this.
What a weird time that was.
I remember this because it happened to me firsthand on RuneScape.
What the fuck?
This is why I remember. This is how you know it was a long time ago, Zach. I played RuneScape when I was like 8 or 9. Maybe even younger, honestly. And I remember I had my account. I don't remember what it was called, unfortunately. Maybe it was AZN Boy, probably. I don't know. And then it was like, we're going to switch to email now. So be sure to sign in with the email you use. And I'm like, what? That's so odd. Why would I do that?
And then you try to sign in now and you're like, fuck, what email did I use for that?
Well, now I guess what's ended up happening now, and it's pretty smart that we made this. I don't know who started it, why it started, but now we all use just one email. Generally, 1 or 2, 3 emails max, maybe.
Yeah.
So we've kind of consolidated like 50 different emails that we used to have for like different account uses or whatever, and now we've kind of just used 1 or 2 or 3 maybe at max, hopefully at least, and we kind of solidify all that. And then also, instead of remembering different usernames, which ends up being much harder, I found, it's just an email. I know what email I use. It's the same email I use for everything. Or this other same email I use for everything. Or the other same email I use for everything.
God, I have like 6 different emails.
You should not do that.
Stop it.
Stop that. I just have 1. No, I have 2. Well, that's a lot. I do have a lot of emails, but the ones that I mainly rotate around are a couple, or are just a few. I have the one I've kept for so long that I just can't get rid of it, because then I would get rid of like basically everything I've ever done.
Yeah.
I have one that I actually use in a personal basis, and then I have one that I purchased the Google One with the 2 terabytes of storage.
Oh yeah.
I decided that I would make that as a separate email because I'd like to phase out the other. It's just not possible. But I don't want all my backup stuff to be on that email because it would just get too confusing.
Yeah.
It gets really bad. And then it's backing up is scary. But I've learned, Zach, that I have one of those external hard drive enclosures.
Yes.
That where you can plug it in with USB.
Yes.
So you can you have an enclosure is plugged in USB, so you can just hot swap different hard drives in it, like full 3.5-inch hard drives.
That's gnarly.
Yeah, just a hot swap drive. It's not ideal, honestly. You should probably just get like a NAS or something. But I don't have that yet, so this will do. And I have a 12 terabyte hard drive. 12 terabytes that has everything I've ever owned since the first time I got a computer.
God, I can't imagine how much bloatware is on that thing.
Hey, how dare you? But it's on there, and it's cool. It's cool. It's all right. And that shit is full. Just this week, I filled it. I did one more backup, and it's full, almost full. It's like 500 gigs left. And that sounds like a lot. But in a 12 terabyte hard drive capacity, that's not a lot left. I'm in the red. And that scares me because I need to buy another damn drive. And I don't want to buy another damn drive because they are lower in price nowadays, which is great. which is great, especially if it's for backing up reasons. You don't need a fast drive. You just need a drive,
Right.
because you're not going to operate on it usually. Ideally, you wouldn't operate on it, but it's so expensive. It's really that's why I usually every single Black Friday I buy storage.
You know what? If I don't do it before Black Friday, this Black Friday I need to buy another hard drive because I have.
They always go on a good sale on Black Friday. I found storage specifically, whether it's an SSD or a hard drive.
Yeah, I'm in a little bit of a precarious situation right now because I have like 5 terabytes of storage, and it's almost full.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's kind of scary.
When you're someone who works with art in some sort of capacity, digital art specifically, that shit gets full.
Yeah,
so it's rough.
So I have a 1 terabyte external hard drive that I use to keep all of my pictures. Somehow it has taken me 4 years to fill it up, and it's almost full. And so I need to. Well, the thing that's so nice though is that it's just all in one place, and so I could just go in and be like, oh wow, and I have it like listed chronologically by year, and then I have it.
I mean, that's fine. It's just you got to understand the rules of backing up. Zach, what happens if that drive goes kaput?
I'm fucked.
Exactly. And I realized this after I've had to, pretty early on when I've had to nuke my PC. And that shit sucks when you don't back your shit up. Or have multiple backups. Or anything like that. Or repair your PC, whatever you got to do. It's rough. So the 3 rules, if I can remember correctly, is so local on your computer. Or a hard drive of some sort of local drive, cloud storage, and then offsite. Now, offsite is a bit ambitious, but that could also just mean like another big drive and you leave it at a relative's house or something. You know, so if there's a damn house fire, you have your shit over. You know, you still have your shit,
right?
And cloud, I mean, if you have the money to have that much storage, sure, but 99 out of 100 people are probably not going to have that much money to buy enough cloud storage to back up everything they own. So they would have to be selective about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can do some of the important things or the things that you're comfortable with sending to the cloud. And then local, you know, that could be whatever. To me, I mean, local would, well, in your computer itself. To me, I guess in a way, the third step for offsite can just be an external drive. So that way you have local, external, and then cloud. But yeah, it's just things to think about in case the inevitable happens. Because who knows, you know? Who knows? I mean, you can be really safe, but lightning can strike.
Yeah. My dad, oh my gosh, my dad has so much storage that's just full of stuff. Like he has a 20 terabyte drive. He has like 2 or 3 different 10 terabyte drives. He has 4 different 5 terabyte drives, and then just random miscellaneous 1 terabyte drives.
Right.
All of which are fucking full.
Yeah, of course.
Like 50 terabytes of storage, just full of stuff.
Nice.
And he runs it on like a Windows 7 PC from 2013 or something like that. And I'm just like, dude, why do you have so many movies? Like he has terabytes upon terabytes of movies.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're like, well, what's the problem with that? It's just so much.
Well, would you rather have all of those movies in hard cases?
That's true.
Lined up in a library? Now that would be really cool,
but a pain in the ass.
It would be a pain in the ass. So digital media will be fine. Now that brings up a different topic of streaming, but I don't know. As someone who only owns one streaming service, and that's Crunchyroll. But then again, that's a different vibe because it would be way harder to obtain actual media, anime media hard, or I guess, yeah, just like DVD and stuff. Even though I understand the DVD and Blu-ray industry over there is actually quite big for some reason. But obtaining hard is difficult. But there was a point I was gonna make. Oh yeah, that's right. I saw this tweet where when she not flaming like this girl, maybe she was not flaming specifically, but kind of jokingly joking on her mom about having a bunch of like CDs for like albums and such, like a lot.
Right.
And then her mom was getting like really defensive and like, well, these, they mean a lot to me. You can never find them anywhere and they can never go away. And I pick up a song and I remember I pick up the hard tray, of the album. And then I remember and I get it, and some people were like, I think the point of it, it was a TikTok, of course. And the point of it was to kind of not, again, ridicule her mom, but just kind of put her in a jokey manner because she was being a little hysterical.
Yeah.
And then, people were like, well, defending the mom because we're adults. And they're like, we're adults and we grew up in an age of physical media and understand physical media. However, it's unfortunate that that's going to go away in general. It may or may not have kind of already gone away and it's going to go even more. But when you think about music, especially for me, who listens to a lot of Eastern Japanese music, maybe Korean here and there, kind of dabble in the K-pop a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. All it takes is a block in a block in the country, a region lock, and I don't have my music anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this
littlest thing, or Spotify can just say, YouTube Music can just say, I'm snapping. I don't know if Dino is going to remove it. Just disappear. Right. So just say fuck it.
Yeah,
that's all it takes.
That's the point where I'm kind of like conflicted because, well, especially with pictures, because along with, the hundreds of movies that my dad has, he has, I probably at this point, hundreds of thousands of pictures of just me and my family growing up and everything like that. And, what my mom used to do is she used to go and get her rolls of film developed, and then we would have physical copies of everything. And even in the beginning of like the SD card days, she would take her SD card, go get it printed, and that's how she held on to a lot of it. And I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, once you get to the point to where, I think at one point we had like a giant suitcase just full of pictures, just strewn about in there, and there was more elsewhere. It becomes a little bit unwieldy. Right. And so having, I guess, as you were saying, like having a physical backup, like having a physical copy of these pictures is a good thing. But at the same time, we're getting to the point now where we can have so much information compressed into such a small area. Like we're talking about something this big holding thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of images and videos and everything like
micro SD cards that are like a terabyte.
Yeah.
That's nuts. That's actually nuts.
I want to get one of those.
I do too. They're micro, not even an SD card, Zach. A micro SD card. That's incredible.
Right. And we've gotten to the point now where technology has progressed to such a degree that there's no limitations to like what you can do with these things. Like I want to, like, the biggest SD card I have right now is 128 gigabytes, which sounds like a ton. I mean, it's a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, not really a whole lot. That's like how much my phone can hold. Right. And so, I want to get like a 1 terabyte SD card just because that would be gnarly. And just to think of like, oh yeah, I can store a backup of all of my pictures on an SD card that's this big, and I could just keep it in my pocket, or like, I could throw it in my camera bag. And if I ever decide, I want to shoot straight onto that, and then if I want to like back it up to my like physical hard drive, I can, or I could just edit on there, send the final copies over to my hard drive, and then the stash grows,
Mhm.
and it's just like an endless cycle of like, oh yeah, you know, I have all of this stuff that I can put on an SD card, and then I can take that SD card, slap it in my camera, go shoot raw pictures so I don't have to upload them.
Mhm.
And then it's just, I'm just now thinking of this. Like I never thought about that. It's probably like $150 for a 1 terabyte SD card, but I don't give a shit. Like, take my money.
Well, Zach, Black Friday is coming. So.
Well, shit.
Well,
All right.
yeah, there we go. My time.
Damn it, dude.
No, I agree. It's hard because although I did grow up in, like, technically I grew up in that age of physical media,
Right.
but I never, well, I didn't have any fucking money, Zach. So excuse me, I personally didn't indulge in that. However, oh God, you hear what's happening to my voice? That was odd. This is odd. This happens when I wake up in the morning. No, but what? Okay, I mentioned this, right? The first like kind of digital media I ever owned was an MP3 player, not an iPod, not an iPod or an iPod Touch or a Shuffle or whatever. Like some sort of dinky, off-brand little MP3 player that only can hold a maximum of like 30 or so songs. And I guess before that, no, I guess, you know, like my Game Boy and such, right? That technically had physical cartridges. But that brings me to Nintendo and how they chopped the Wii store, the Nintendo Wii store, and I think the Wii U. I don't know. I can be wrong.
Probably at this point.
But the Wii store, I know, like the Nintendo store.
Mm-hmm.
The servers are gone. Thus, if you bought digital games from the Nintendo store, you can't play them anymore. And that was like a really big thing in the tech news. Like this shouldn't happen. This is preservation that needs to happen in order or preservation should happen for these ancient quote unquote ancient games, but old games at this point now.
Yeah.
You know, and the only way would be if you had the physical media that you'd still be able to play the game. The disc.
Yeah. I mean, that's when it starts to get a little bit weird because you think about when the Wii came out, what, 2006, 2007?
I want to say, yeah.
And that was, you know, like probably 6 or 7 years prior. That's when we started going to digital, you know, like the late 90s, early 2000s was when digital became as big as it was. And then, you know, we had like the GameCube, the Game Boy. I think the DS came out around that time too, but you had all of these things that were basically just like revolutionizing the way that technology was working. And then, you know, to look at it with the hindsight of 2020, 2022, you know, it's hard to believe, like, why couldn't we have done a better job of preserving this? This was fucking 2006, dude. You know?
Yeah.
Like it was an entirely different ball game back then. Cause like, I'm sure that when they made the Wii store, I'm sure that they had absolutely no intention on people wanting to have access to it 15, 16, 17 years after the fact, you know? And so now we're at the point where we're like, oh, what do we do now?
Well, Zach, that's a great example. Flash games.
Oh, dude.
Or not even just Flash games. Flash applications. Flash games, Flash learning activities, just Flash things. That was like such a staple in our early education.
Yeah. Cool math games.
After or learning a certain subject and then doing an interactive activity.
Yeah.
That's made in Flash. Like that was a big thing. And obviously there's more tools now, but some of those still can be applicable to learning and would have no problem with still being a tool, depending on, you know, the use case. Oh, he said it.
Use case.
But it's, you know, as technology ages, we have to move on. But the thing that just sucked was that nobody, like, they just didn't care to preserve anything. And so that led to the community to preserve it. I know my professor in WSU, Jeannie, I believe, Deanie, sorry. She, bless her heart, she had a team with her and some students who, their project, if you will, was to, and this was not part of school. This was just like a passion project. She had a whole lab and everything of just preserving Flash games, reaching out to the creators and saying, hey, I'm this and this from WSU and so and such. I would like to preserve your game. Do I have the rights and permissions to? And that's the tough part, right? You need the rights. These are like licensed. Some of these are like heavily licensed things. Some of these are educational .gov licensed things.
Right.
You know? And there's no damn email attached to it, Zach. What are you going to do? You know?
Yeah.
It's mad tough.
It's hard to get a hold of the government for some reason.
These things are tough. So,
but to see, that was one of the coolest things that I've ever seen, just like from an outsider looking in. It was so amazing to just see all of these people rallying together to save Flash games. And from like an outsider's perspective, like, people who are like a generation or two older than us, they're like, why the fuck do you care about these stupid low quality games that are like, that were made by this one dude in a garage? And it's because, that was like a staple of that time.
Yes.
And it became so iconic that, there are certain games that I think of from my childhood that I just can't find anymore. And, it's been really cool because I've been watching a lot of documentaries of people who have been going on like a perilous journey to figure out like, who the voice actor for a GameCube game was, or like, trying to find the last physical copy of a specific game, or, McDonald's, they made DSI games on how to make McDonald's burgers.
Did they do that? I don't remember that.
In Japan, they did, yeah.
Of course, Japan. That's cool.
and so this guy, I can't remember the name of his channel. If I think about it, I'll leave a comment or something. But the guy who went on this journey, he found one of 3 of them, I believe, that were left. Like total, there were only 3 left that we knew of. 2 of which were bought at auction. Nobody, like, they weren't allowing anything. And basically what his plan was to take that DS game, download all of the content of it, and make it available.
Right.
So that you could play it too. And, that's what this guy has been doing with a lot of different games, with a lot of different, old school, early 2010s software. Like it was such the early 2000s up until probably, not too long ago, it was like the video game renaissance in a way, because, we had consoles like the NES, the Nintendo 64, we had the GameCube, the Game Boy, the DS, we had all of these, PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, all of these revolutionary technological advancements in personal media consumption that, we don't even really think about it like, oh, we need to preserve all of these things. Like, we need to make sure that we can still play original PlayStation games, or like, we need to make sure that if you have NES cartridges, but you don't have a console, there's something that you could use instead of trying to find a collector's item that is going to be impossible to get your hands on. And it's just like that idea of like, these things were so cool. Everyone was so happy about how much they affected their lives. Let's share the wealth with everybody. Like that is something that I'm definitely 100% going to rally behind. And like, just for the sake of like preservation and like making sure that these things that we hold on to with like an extreme level of nostalgia, like we can still see it. Like we can still play these games. Cool Math Games is still a website. It's still running. Which I didn't even know about until...
I know, right? I didn't either. I thought it was done for. Like, I thought like as soon as Flash was done for, I was like, oh shit. Because it was just a race against the clock to convert as many games as possible, as many Flash devices as possible.
Yeah.
It was like, and it was a race against a clock that we didn't even know the deadline of.
Right.
To my understanding. I'm pretty sure there was not. I would like to think they said, okay, guys, I would like to think Adobe recognized that this was happening. But if they did, I feel like they would have done something themselves and be like, okay, we see, well, we're Adobe. we made Flash. Let's just make a tool to convert things easy for the people or something like that. Or maybe let's do it ourselves. But then again, I don't know how they would recognize different Flash things. But you know what I mean? I feel like they should have had some sort of thing to help with things better. But yeah, it was just a race against the clock. And I would like to think they gave some sort of deadline because they cared about the community. But I don't know. But in my head canon, they didn't. So it was just, who the fuck knows when they're going to axe it? They just told us that it's going to get axed. I don't know when it's going to get axed. I don't even know if it's going to get axed at this point.
Yeah.
But there's just right around the street is that it's going to get axed. It's going to get axed soon. We need to go through everything. Everything. Just think about it. If you can think about a Flash game in your damn childhood, bring it up. And let's see if we can contact the creator who may be fucking dead.
Yeah.
Because it's that old.
From like 2003?
Yes. 2003, Zach. Some guy could have been like 50 or 60 and made that. He could be damn dead now.
It's hard to believe that 2002 was 20 years ago.
Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
In 1492.
2002. See, this analogy doesn't make sense because you could just end it in 2. I hate that one. But it is crazy because it was a long time ago. It's those things. I hate these tweets, by the way, but it makes you think. It's like, I remember, what was it? It was in like, what would it have been? Like 2021, I suppose. And it's like, oh God, people in 2003 are going to college now or something like that. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. I know, right? But I hate these because they're so annoying and everybody makes the same damn tweet.
Yeah, I mean, dude, so I told you about this. I haven't had a chance to tell everybody on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple days ago, there was an alumni football game where a whole bunch of people who graduated who were in the band program, we all got together
from high school.
Yeah. We all got together and played in the football pep band for their last home game. And, you know, it was really fun. I had a grand old time. Mm-hmm. It was really weird being there, having like a shit ton of tattoos, you know, a full beard and piercings, you know, it just
out of high school. Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. Being around a bunch of high schoolers, some of which are graduating in 2025.
Yeah.
Which is fucking disgusting to think about.
Yeah.
And, you know, the only people who I knew there were the band director and then all the alumni. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, we graduated almost 5 fucking years ago.
Yep. Hey. I don't like that talk. Don't talk like that.
Well, yeah. Anyways, you know, I didn't know anybody there. We were playing a whole bunch of the older songs that we played when I was there. Mm-hmm. And it was really funny. I didn't even realize this. Mm-hmm. Some of the songs I still had memorized.
Oh.
The muscle memory came back, baby.
That's cool. It never left, baby.
Yeah, it was really cool to whip out the Barry sax again. Oh yeah, I don't even think I've talked about this at all. So throughout all of middle school and high school, I played baritone saxophone.
You mentioned damn episode 2 band stories, probably.
Yeah, but that was like 80 episodes ago. So yeah, I played baritone saxophone in like the jazz bands, the wind ensembles, all of like the pep bands in high school. You know, that was basically my main instrument. And so to be able to whip it out of the case again, and you know, I've had the same instrument for 10 years.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really crazy. And so it was just a lot of fun. It was cool to be able to be in a band like that again, because like it's been years since the last time I did something like that, and so it was really, really fun
for sure.
But yeah, that was all. I just wanted to mention
it's all good. I mean, when I got it, same vibe kind of in a way whenever I get asked to, or the last recent edit I got asked to join was like this little teeny tiny little mini edit thing. Was held by my buddy Gypsy, who lives in Bend. Shout out Bend, Oregon. Gypsy, a good friend of mine, Jippy Dip, with me, Vay, Stolen, and Stellany, of course. Us 5. We made a little mini edit for our good friend Philly. Shout out Philly, for his birthday. It was fun. It was meme-tastic. It was great. We just did this little cod edit and threw a bunch of memes in there. And I gaslit this iconic clip. You know, have you heard of this kind of indie kind of company type of vibe called Phase?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I was afraid you may not have heard of them because they're kind of underground. And there's a member in there who you may or may not know, called Phase Rain.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I just need to make sure we're on the same page.
Oh, damn
it. Well, to be fair, you're not in the space that much, so that's how you know Phase has expanded so far, because they're actually just a brand and they're idols now. Anyways, he hit this MW2 clip. Everybody, this favela clip. If you're in the COD space, you know it. You dream of it. It's like 2011. So this is crazy. It's S&D, favela, MW2, intervention, 1 headshot, 2 headshot, jumps off the damn map, wall bang, headshot, someone in fucking nowhere. Who the fuck knows where he was? 3 headshots. Crazy as shit. Everybody remembers this clip. Yeah. It plays in the back of their damn mind. And I'm just like, in my version of the edit, I made it so that he never hit the shot. So I went on MW2 and I mimicked the shot and I just missed. It's so funny. It's fantastic. And I'm joking, actually. I never did that. That's actually how the clip went. It was all a dream. But it never actually happened.
It's a part of the uncanny valley.
No, it was hilarious. But what the point of I'm saying is that we just had a lot of fun. Like, we're just in a Discord call and we're just editing. We're just joking around and showing each other the funny memes we were putting in our edits. It was hilarious. And it's that type of vibe where all of us were basically done with editing. Like, literally all of us. Some of us are still editing here and there, I guess.
Right.
But in general, all 5 of us are just like, we're kind of done. I think some are still editing, but we're just like, it is what it is. But we did it for fun, and it's kind of the same vibe as like an alumni type of come back and just do a fun edit for shits and giggles and laugh about it and reminisce on the good nostalgic times.
It is really cool when you get a moment where you get to step back in the shoes, and honestly, that's kind of how it felt like opening Premiere Pro and like doing all this kind of stuff, because you know, the last time I posted a video was over a year ago.
Yeah.
The video before, there was a stint where I probably posted like 3 or 4 videos, and then it was a year, and then I would post a video. It would be another year or so.
I want to say the last video I posted in my main channel was also a year ago. The wedding video. I want to say.
God, was that really a year ago?
I really want to say. It might have been later, because I know I was super fucking late on it. I know that was a whole thing. But I remember talking about still being late on that in the early episodes of the podcast. And I don't remember what... I thought I posted it on August. I can be wrong. I don't remember. Fuck. Oh, God. I can't remember. But I know it was good fucking Lord. I'm so sorry. But, I mean, I really loved it. And I mean, I got to upload as well. I got to figure out what I want to do on the main channel. I got to get my second channel rolling so I can finally start posting gaming stuff for my streams. That's what I mainly want to do right now. I'm not too focused on my main channel. My main channel is kind of just a sitting relic at this point, kind of just of all my fun projects. But what I do want to do with my main channel is essentially when I work on bigger projects, or even if it can still be gaming content, but more like more produced gaming content, such as the Minecraft speedruns and stuff like that. And then not necessarily low budget, if you will, or low effort rather, but just quicker edits like stream highlights or full blown like playthroughs if I ever start playing more like story-based games or something like that. That'll go on the second channel as well. Second channel will just be my miscellaneous channel. If I don't think it should be on the main channel, it'll just be thrown in there. It'll be streams, gaming, keyboards, music, everything just on that channel. Just miscellaneous, Anuki miscellaneous channel. It's not what it's called. It could be though, but that would be kind of long. It doesn't really catch on.
Yeah.
Miscellaneous, miscellaneous.
Miss Anuki.
Miss Anuki. Nuki
I
Misk.
don't know.
Or just be like everyone else. Anuki too. I mean, it works.
Fair enough. Yeah. You know, I do miss the days where we were doing like PC builds and that kind of stuff here.
Mhm.
And like you would have me film and,
Mhm.
you know, we would do all that kind of stuff. Like I really do miss that because I kind of accidentally became a character in those videos where I was just making sarcastic comments while you were building
Oh,
a
that's
computer.
fine. Makes it more fun.
Yeah.
As long as it's not like there's some times where they do that and it's fine.
Yeah.
But they keep doing it and they do it over and over again and it's like, okay, this is a bit, you know. It's no longer a bit.
Yeah.
It's just kind of annoying because it's not a funny bit of a funny sarcastic remark. It's like, well, just be in the damn video.
Yeah. Yeah, there I just remember one moment super vividly where you were building a computer, you were building it on a box, and you were like, all right, let's start up the computer. And then you didn't have the power supply plugged in. And I was like,
Yeah.
Arthur, did you plug in the power supply? You looked at me, looked at the box that still had the power supply in it. You're like, fuck. And then it was just like a jump cut to like, okay, let's try this again.
All right. Yeah. I miss those videos. I do, but I don't know. I would like to do bigger projects like that. I just don't know what it would be for, what it would do. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what I've really gotten into is video essays.
I love video essays.
Video essays are awesome. I watched this one recently. This indie YouTuber. I don't know if you know. Giguk. Gig UK. Have you heard of him by chance?
I have, yeah.
Okay, cool. I just need to make sure. I don't know. I know you're not really into the whole, internet thing. No, but I watched him recently he did one on an eroge. Cut to, I can't remember what it was. I apologize, but it was really good. I really enjoy his style of videos because of that. Though I don't watch it very much, but I don't watch a lot of YouTube in general. But style of video essays. I watched this one also, relatively not recently, but around the time this Vocaloid artist who had passed away, unfortunately, they did a lot. If you will, they kind of revolutionized in their own way. You can argue that every single really popular Vocaloid artist revolutionized the Vocaloid in their own way. But Wowoka, however you want to say it, he did a lot of songs. You don't know these songs, but like such like Rolling Girl and Unnamed Mother Goose. These type of songs where it's like. It's just a bit it's different and it's fun and it had his own things and he had his own stories, of course, and he had his own upbringing. Some guy who was in a band but had no musical experience basically at all, just jumping into Vocaloid and making music and becoming one of the most popular, top-selling, top-rated Vocaloid artists, you know? And it's cool. Unfortunately, he did pass away, but I watched, just a bunch of tributes to it and then some guy made a really good video essay on it, just discussing his early days, unreleased tracks, when he was in a band, and he ended up being reconciling with the band and being in that band afterwards. And it's cool, right? I love video essays for this reason, where it's like it is a paper.
Mm-hmm.
Like the script itself is written and directed it's written like a paper, but directed in a conversational tone,
Right.
with visuals. And that's why I love video essays. It's way more digestible than sitting down and looking at a damn paper. Is it because someone's reading it to me? Is it because cool images are flashing? Maybe. But that's not a bad thing.
I don't know. There's something just so compelling about it. And
It's like a documentary.
Yeah.
It's
It's basically a mini documentary about just
YouTubers, a topic, or just whatever it is. And it's just somewhat, I like to imagine just video essays are like low budget, passion filled documentaries.
Yeah.
It's not the big grandiose scale of a team getting, just dozens of shots and compiling and editing and all that. Obviously that's there, but it's just one or two, a couple people, a ragtag team with a topic that they want to tackle. and it's nice, and just put it up on YouTube for you to watch
For free.
for free.
Yeah.
Let's watch a couple ads. That unskippable 1 minute ad.
Hell yeah, brother.
All that premium stuff, chilling. So, but I like video essays. They've become my favorite, and that's why I enjoyed in the beginning. We can end it pretty soon here. But I enjoyed that one video I did, the 2HC video. I love that video. I look back at it and now I realize, damn, these memes are hella old. But the 2HC video I did for Pride, that the fun of scripting that intro bit that I did was fun, and scripting is fun. I really enjoy that as a writer, someone who enjoyed writing more than reading when it came to English classes. I really enjoyed the process of scripting and presenting, of course, because I mentioned before in the beginning. There we go. There was a circle I was trying to draw. I enjoy presenting.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do I make video essays? I don't know, but I am working on projects that are scripted. And it'll be a lot of fun. There's a lot of work have been put into it. So I'm excited for when that happens. Obviously, I've just been busy with time and I have to work. I'm working with a bunch of different people, but these are main channel videos, and I'm excited to work on main channel videos. But yeah, I don't know, just things I'm working on. How about you? Do you have some plans for your channel now that you've uploaded? You've kind of gotten a taste for editing again. Maybe some new music uploads or.
So
uploads.
Music uploads are definitely in the future. They're in the works.
By the way, your shot in the unedited highlights video is incredible. Like your little intro shot.
Oh yeah,
it's fucking incredible. I love that. I'm just gonna say. I just want to tell you, it's incredible. It looks so good. I've begun to enjoy using the monitor to force depth.
Yeah.
As long as it's not obtrusive, it looks really good. I like that.
Yeah, I had an idea of the shot, like when I was getting ready to film it. Mm-hmm. I had an idea of what I kind of wanted it to look like. Mm-hmm. But I just kind of wasn't really sure yet. And then that was when Alec was at the house still, and so he was kind of like my body double for that. Mm-hmm. While I was getting the tripod set up and everything like that. And so that was I had a vision for that shot because in like my live streams and everything like that, my camera is always in the same general area, and if you're facing my computer, it's always on the right side. And so I wanted to try that other angle, and it would have like the organ in the back and all of that kind of stuff too. And also it was a much less cluttered backdrop, but also I wanted that background separation, and so I ended up using my 70-200 f2.8.
I thought I silenced my phone. Sorry, guys.
What the fuck, Richard?
Well, I genuinely thought I'd silenced it, or maybe I unsilenced it during the demonstration. And go ahead. Sorry.
Anywho,
no one cares.
So I ended up punching into 135 millimeters for that.
Oh.
And it looks so nice. Like,
it looks incredible.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm really glad that you noticed that, because like I was definitely really, really excited about that shot. But what I kind of see myself doing in the near future is music stuff, and then I'm wanting to start kind of working on bigger projects like you were talking about. And I don't know, man. I think the pre-production and the production side of things are like what I strive at doing, and like what I do the best doing. Just because like, I love being able to use my brain to be like, okay, what do I want this shot to look like? How do I want it to be lit? Are there any things that I can kind of put in the background to like add or subtract from what's going on in the foreground? That's kind of where I'm best suited, I guess.
Sure.
And so, sometimes I just can't be fucking bothered to edit. And I mean, of course I'm talking to an editor, so you're like, come on now. Like,
oh, I'm the opposite. I have the opposite problem. I can't be asked to set shit up. I just want to record and edit it ASAP. So the dilemma.
Let's do shit together then.
I guess that would be it.
I guess so. I mean, shit, fine.
That would be ideal. Yeah. But I guess I suppose that's the end. Thank you guys for listening to a little life rant, I suppose. As always, thank you, Zach, for being a great producer. You can find his things as well as his website in the description. You can find my things as well as not my website in the description. Coffee and Patreon if it's ready. And check out, let's see, this video. Oh, I got it first try. I have the right hand. I look at it right hand. Right hand's first, even though it pops up on the left side. So my brain's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least I'm not pointing up. But here,
Listen here.
Let's see. I mean, it's kind of. I gotta keep throwing it to the school episode because I just love it so much. So I gotta have this one in the school episode. This one, you know what? I'll let YouTube pick this one. YouTube can pick this episode.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.